What does a top producer's perfect week look like? Pretty simple. Take out your pen and paper. Let's take some notes. Number one, every top producer has a morning routine. They get up and they do the same thing every morning. Usually it involves around some sort of self-care, some kind of meditation. Maybe they read motivational books or they might study scripture. They'll do different things, meditation, prayer, followed by exercise, followed by a good breakfast. They do a quick review of their goals for the day, what they have scheduled, what they have planned, and then they're out the door and off they go. Another tip-top trick to being a top producer is time blocking. If it's not in their calendar, they don't do it. Their calendar is king. They have a dedicated time for lead generation, follow-ups, showings, and even breaks. Weekly review and pre-scheduling Sundays or Monday mornings without fail. They understand that if it's not in their calendar, they're not doing it. And their calendars have to be precise, they have to be efficient, they have to be doable, and their calendars must be packed with activities that are going to produce results. One thing that all top producers do without fail is they dedicate an hour or two for lead generation. And they all do it differently, but it could include calling FSBOs, calling your sphere. It could be going through your open house registry. It could be going through past clients, following up with new leads. All of these things are completed within that 1 to 2 hours with complete focus and no distractions. Another thing all top producers do is they stay in contact with their clients, even when things aren't happening on their properties. They might send them an article about a school they went to, or they might send them the latest market data. They might call them to say a property sold in the neighborhood, or they might just follow up with a happy birthday to them or one of their family members. They understand that if they do not stay in contact, someone else will be. And you always want to be top of mind when that client gets ready to transact. One thing top producers really focus on, and I know this sounds really simple, or maybe oh duh, I wish, but they try to always have a minimum of 3 to 6 listing or buyer appointments every single week. And so that's the goal. And so when you think about your day and you're trying to plan your week, always be working on setting appointments. That is the key. When you're talking to someone on the phone, can I set up an appointment and come see you? Would 3 or 5 be at the right time? In other words, the more appointments you set during a week, the better results you're going to have. I know that sounds super simplified, but whoever you're talking with, whatever you're doing, try to set up appointments. A lot of people that have listings make the mistake of what we call opening doors. They get the call from the broker. They say they have a client. Can we show the property at 4 p.m.? The listing agent says, yes, absolutely. And off they go and show the property, only to find out that client was not that property was not the right property for that client. And that could have easily been solved with a little pre-qualification. Before you just run out to open a door on one of your listings, make sure that buyer is the right buyer for that property. Ask the buyer's agent some pre-qualifying questions, like what they're looking for. Make sure they understand what your property is about. Make sure you know what the buyer's looking for, and then go open the door. All top producers are great branders. They understand they have to stand out in a very competitive world. So they shape their brand around maybe some pillars of who they are, maybe their philosophy, maybe their style of doing business. And then they make sure that their branding is extremely consistent. They do newsletters, they do social media, they probably send out mailers to their farms. Everything they do is coordinated and is an actual reflection of their brand, because brands are more than a logo. Brands are supposed to say who you are, what your service model is, why I should use you, what kind of an experience am I going to have with you. So one of the things you can do is have regular video content, make sure you're doing lots of home tours and community spotlights, and make sure those homes and those community spotlights are also consistent with your brand. Personal development is probably the top topic amongst top producers, because their business is at a point where the only thing that's going to help it get better is if they get better. And so this happens 3 ways: mentally, physically, and spiritually. So top producers focus on those things to actually improve themselves. They'll read books, they'll go to motivational seminars. They'll work with a coach. They'll work out, they'll exercise, they eat well, they get their sleep, and they make sure that they continue to self-improve, because that is the only way they're going to get better in life and in business. You will max out when you hit your ceiling, but you can raise your ceiling through personal development. Team and vendor collaboration is critical. The escrow officer you work with, the title officer you work with, the marketing people on your team, the administrative people on your team, even if you are mentoring agents or have junior agents on your team. So you must collaborate regularly with them. They must understand the purpose of what they're doing and how they're doing it and why they're doing it and what they're doing for you. And you have to keep everybody on task, motivated, and representing your brand very, very, very well. And that can only happen with regular meetings and regular conversations. If you don't have the ability or even the desire to do those things, keep your team limited in size. But if you like working with people, you like collaborating, you like having meetings, you like mentoring, then make sure that you communicate regularly, that you have set meetings every week, making sure you have agendas during those meetings so that your team can be super effective and can work to support everything you're doing. Here's an obvious: top producers have top teams. So their stagers, their escrow officers, their title officers are all top in the business, and they collaborate regularly to make sure that that agent stays on top as well. Networking and relationships is really important. Making sure that you're consistently talking to the people that you use for your services, like your medical, doctors, dentists, your professional, your lawyers, your accountants, your personal, maybe you're in a sports team or you like playing music or you're, in a cooking class, whatever. All of these areas are places to network and build relationships. And top producers, they know how to leverage those situations. And it's not like you don't have to be the corny realtor that's always saying, I'm in real estate. Do you know anybody that's buying or selling? Because they already know you're in real estate. So just be interested in them. And the conversation always turns to real estate. You don't have to worry about that. One last tip to that, make sure they understand that you're here to help them build their businesses as well. Like if your doctor, your accountant, your lawyer, that professional person you're working with is building their business, tell them you want to help support them to do that. Ask if they're interested in new clients. And if they are, go out of your way to try to bring them clients, because they will reciprocate when the time comes. Another huge part of an agent's life, and a critical and important part, but I will say not a productive part. And what I mean by that is deal management. Deal management is absolutely something that has to happen, and every agent has to pay close attention to a transaction. But deal management can also suck up the whole day. And when that happens, you're out of business, because now you're not building your pipeline looking for new business. You're not taking that hour to prospect. You're not doing some of these other things we said. You're just obsessed with managing the deal. This is where your team and other members can help you. So set aside a certain amount of time each day to work on your deals, understand everything that needs to happen, and then delegate it or take care of it. But don't let that deal management take up the whole day. It is a time sucker if you're not careful. Community involvement is a way for you to give back. Let's face it, we're out there, we're making lots of money from the community. Yes, we're helping people. We provide an amazing service, but give back. Get involved in your local schools. Join a charity. Roll up your sleeves. Help the neighborhood. Help your friends. Be a giver, not just a taker. Attending fundraisers, working with schools, creates long-lasting relationships. Probably like my favorite thing to do during a day, because there's nothing like giving back. I mean, when it's about you all the time and you're always thinking about yourself, that doesn't work. That'll just make you miserable over time. But when you're out there being a service and you're involved in your community and you're networking and you're providing value to your community, you're going to feel terrific, and you'll probably get a ton of business from it too. At the end, it builds trust and it builds visibility in your community. Top producers have one major problem, and that is they need to protect their energy. Going 24/7 is not sustainable. So taking a night off every week, taking a day off every week, Making sure that you build personal time into your weeks is key and critical. Because if you burn out, two things are going to happen. The world's going to look dark. You're not going to be in a great mood. You're not going to be as efficient and as available to your clients as if you're in a great mood and you're rested. If you're rested, you see solutions, not problems. If you're rested, you have energy to do what it takes. If you're tired, the world looks bleak, and you just want to crawl under those covers and pull them over your head, that is not the way to enter into a business deal. Sunday afternoon planning sessions are key and critical, and honestly, way better than Monday morning. Because if you have it done on Sunday night, Monday morning, you're just up and going. You're not thinking about what you're going to do that day. So end every week with a solid business planning session for that week for you. Take a look at what happened the week prior. What needs to roll into this week? What were your wins and losses? What did you learn? What do you need to do this week that you didn't do last week? And then build out that schedule we talked about, that perfect top producer schedule that includes prospecting, includes appointments, includes all those things, deal management, all those things that need to happen for your business to run. Sunday nights are the best time for planning. A lot of top producers stall in their business's growth. Why? Why would it stall? It's because they're so busy and they're so in the business that they're forgetting to work on their business. And every top producer has to schedule at least an hour or two a week to think about their business, to think about where they're going, where they want to go, to plan, to imagine, to visualize, maybe to rewrite their business plan. You have to work on your business if you want to continue to grow. You can't just do it by being in the business and just like doing deals all day long. You need to strategize. Without the strategy, the business is going to stall, period. One thing we don't do well is celebrate our wins. I don't know about you, but I get a listing, I make a sale, it's like ho-hum. But if I get a gut punch or a deal falls out or I lose a listing, it's like I'm down for hours, days sometimes, kicking rocks, feeling bad, wondering what I did wrong. We have to reverse that. We need to minimize our failures and maximize our victories. It's that fortifying the good rather than fortifying the bad that I think is going to not only keep us in a better mood, but will probably be more successful too. I think that pretty well sums up a top producer's week. If you think I missed something, I'd love to hear from you. If there was anything here that really resonated that you liked, put it in the comments below. I think we can all perfect the perfect top producer week. Let's do it together.